Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wealth Frequency. Today, I have a really special guest, Sarah Mack. She is a creative brand strategist, money witch, and business astrologer who helps magical entrepreneurs to have six-figure years, more freedom, and fun in life and business. Her zone of genius is clarifying your highest value offer and filling it with compatible soul clients through authentic storytelling guided by astrology. And she's an intuitive shark for the mindset-ish that gets in the way of hitting your income goals. And she's also the author of the Six-Figure Creative, Heal Your Relationship with Money, Doing the Work You Love, and host of the Creative Magic Club podcast. She has performed her original music internationally and traveled to 18 countries since starting her business in 2015. She's originally from the UK, but Sarah now lives in LA. So, Sarah, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you. And I'm so excited for our conversation, which is all about how to use astrology to just really make your business come alive and go on the path of your soul and your heart. So, let's just dive straight in and talk. Can you just give us a little bit about a few tips on how we can use astrology and how astrology is used to actually do this?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, the most powerful thing about astrology. So when we think about following our dreams, like what does that actually entail? Number one, we have to listen to ourselves, right? Like nobody is going to tell you what your dream is. No one's going to design your dream for you. No one's going to tell you this is what's going to make you happy. So the number one skill that we have to develop is number one, listening to ourselves, and then number two, trusting ourselves. And I think, that's where it gets complicated because we are so very often conditioned out of trusting ourselves, right? Like as we grow up, I'm sure we've all, we all have different experiences. I'm sure many of us relate to having similar experiences where, as kids, our parents tell us what to do, right? Because they're teaching us how to be safe in the world. So we're raised to listen to other people and to put other people's voices as authority over us. Then when we go to school, we get the same thing. And as a creative person, I was consistently told your ideas suck. It's like, oh, you want to study drama? Like you should at least study English because that's like a more serious topic. I'm like, where is the logic behind that conversation? Like my mom, she's an artist, she's a painter, and her parents didn't have the resources to send her to art school. So they told her, go and become a secretary in London because that's like your guaranteed work and you can make money, And then she told me that she hated that. And then she turned around and told me the same thing. Like, oh, I was the eldest child of four. We don't have the money to pay for you to go to university. So I think you should just go and become a secretary. And I was like, why would I follow your advice when you've told me that you hated that, And so there was all these really pivotal moments in my life where I expressed an interest to pursue my creativity, to do things that really interested in me, really lit me up. And I was told like, this will never succeed. Like, this is a terrible idea. You should just, you should settle, you should do something else. And I'm sure we've all experienced some flavor of that unless, you had really supportive parents who really believed that you were capable of anything. And so we, from all of these like core memories and moments, we kind of started to question ourselves, right? And like anytime we didn't get something that we wanted, we created a belief around like, oh, it's hard or it's not possible or I'm not good enough to get what I want. And so I think moving into something that we deeply desire in our career involves a lot of unraveling of all of that conditioning. And I really like using our astrology chart because it's a blueprint of your main characteristics and your strengths. And it's kind of like looking in a mirror, because we know, right? Like I like tried to write songs when I was a kid and I gave up because I didn't really like it was hard. Like I never thought that was something that I should like ask for help with. But, I found a way to not settle. Like I had certain levels of boundaries and, found ways to do creative things in my career until I had a big burnout when I was working in film production, and that really forced me to listen to myself because my body was just like shutting down at 6 p.m. I had really bad headaches. I had chronic fatigue for 5 years. And I was like, okay, like something isn't working. Like body's trying to get a message through to me. So I should sit down and listen. And that's when I really started listening to myself. And I picked up The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And I started, stream of consciousness journaling. And it wasn't till later that I discovered astrology. But it was such a breakthrough moment for me. I'd already become an entrepreneur by that point, but I could see by, specific placements in my chart, it just really resonated with intuitive things that I had been feeling, which ultimately gave me the confidence to make a move on that. And I found that that's generally the experience for people with their astrology chart, is it's just going to act as confirmation on those intuitive nudges, those desires, those little thoughts, that little voice in your ear that just hasn't gone away over the years, And I find the more we give our attention to that and the more we can externalize that, because we're so used to just ignoring our inner voice. There's so many distractions. There's so many other people's opinions about what's a good idea, what we should or shouldn't be doing in life and in the cultures that we live in. Astrology and spending time with our chart can really be a place where we just get to turn up the dial on that inner voice and be like, oh yeah, like, we can look at our Venus for the ways that people really love to pay us and the skills and the gifts that we're really meant to create abundance through. And we can look at our 10th house for, the direction of our career and our impact and our legacy. And obviously there's so many different, expressions of that, and we can evolve so many ways, but there are these central threads that kind of run through our life. And once you start to understand your chart, you can see how you've been doing these things in one way or another. And then we just get to continue to evolve and to shift and to change and to really refine and fine tune the decisions that we're making. So it's more and more in alignment with authentic self-expression and the things, the gifts and the strengths that are really innate to us, and being able to recognize that not everybody has them. And so it's really valuable to lean into the things that we're naturally good at. And usually the things we're most passionate about and we're most excited about, they are going to be the things that we're best at, even if it doesn't seem like a straightforward path to making money. And so, really building trust by taking small steps at a time in the direction of those things and thinking like, okay, well, my Venus is telling me this, or my 10th house is telling me this, or my 7th house is telling me these are the types of people and clients that I'm going to really be compatible with serving, and just collecting all of these insights and starting to integrate them into our strategy and the way that we take action. We start to build evidence that when we do lean into our strengths and the things that are most innate to us, things start to work out and they feel really, really good. And then that gives us the confidence to continue, taking those leaps towards the things that we desire.
Yeah, no, I feel like astrology is so powerful. I've definitely used my own chart to kind of give me permission to go for the things I actually want to go for. And I also use it with clients as well. I very much look at like the ascendant, the, you know, sun sign, the moon sign, all of that stuff. So you also work with clients on actually like building and selling an offer as well. So how does astrology come into play when we're building an offer, and like especially when we're figuring out, because you talked about looking at your Venus on what kind of clients you attract. So what do we look at when it's about building an offer?
Yeah, because I mean, the coaching industry, I think, is like the second fastest growing industry after tech, right? So, which is awesome because people are really into buying coaching. But there's more and more people, jumping into the industry every day. So it becomes more and more important for us to differentiate who we are and who we help. And we're kind of entering the era of like the deep niche, right? Like really being able to bring forward the unique aspects of who you are and your story and your skills and your expertise. Because that makes you like the ultimate perfect match for a certain group of clients, right? And these things become the reason why somebody wants to choose you over the other thousands of people who do similar work to you. So I help people to launch high ticket offers, so price like 5,000, 10,000 and up. And what I look at to help people get clear on what their offer is and to really differentiate that and to stand out is to look at what is your most valuable offering. So that's a combination of looking at your chart, what are your innate gifts and strengths and skills? What are the things that kind of, make you the missing jigsaw puzzle piece for your client, and how your strengths kind of complete the picture for them and make it easier for them to achieve their goals. And then also looking at your story. And I always say your story is your curriculum. Whatever it is that you've walked through, that you've embodied, that is your ultimate value, the results that you've created and the way that you got there and the skills that you developed on the way there and the challenges that you overcame. That's truly what brings the depth of value to your wisdom that really equips you to help others to go through that transformation. So I like to look at, of everything that you've created, of your unique gifts and skills and strengths, what is the most valuable offering? And the way that I think of it, because especially when you're creative, people tend to get a bit hung up on I can help people in so many different ways. It's like, oh, I can talk about astrology, I can talk about human design, I can do breath work, I can do Reiki, I can do energy healing, I can do content strategy, I can do business mentorship. We bring so many skills to the table. But the way to really differentiate yourself and to make a clear, very high value offer is to position it in a simple and powerful way. So we really want to bring forward the parts of your experience and your story that center around the highest value result that you help your client to create through the program. And then you can bring all of your other skills and gifts and wisdom to your client work once they're in your container. But confused people don't buy, right? So it's so important to position yourself and your brand storytelling, how you talk about your skills and position yourself through your content with a very, very clear message that's really focused around your most valuable skill set to your client. And so our astrology chart is really helpful for that. Yeah, like I said before, I like to use Venus a lot. I like to use the seventh house a lot. I also really like to use Chiron, because Chiron is it's an asteroid and it's considered the wounded healer. And when somebody is hiring someone for help to create massive transformation in their life, you don't want to hire someone who's this has always been easy for me. I just created all of these results so easily, in my sleep, because your clients are experiencing real challenges, right? So they want to hear about the challenges that you have overcome. Number one, so that they believe that it's possible for them, because if you've been through the challenges and created the result, then they can see, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. And number two, they trust you. They trust that even though they're going through these, what can sometimes feel like insurmountable challenges, when we're in the thick of a problem and really striving to get to a solution and to a transformation, which is the place where people really hire support and invest in offers, like high ticket offers with mentors. And Chiron is that, it's kind of like our Achilles heel, it's that area of life that just keeps bringing us down to our knees. No matter what phase of life we're in, we're constantly facing a new challenge, and we're constantly gaining new perspectives and really being forced to build strong skill sets. And that's where a lot of our wisdom and a lot of our knowledge and our skills that are really, of great benefit, not only to us, but to our clients, that's where a lot of that comes from. And obviously showing up and sharing your story around the challenges that you face, claiming the results and the incredible things that you've created, it's very vulnerable to do that. Especially when we're consistently going through lessons in those areas that we're teaching in, which is so normal, right? There's all, it's new level, new devil. There's always going to be another level of challenge that we're working through. So that's why I think it's so empowering to focus on understanding our Chiron placement. When I first discovered that for myself, I was like, oh, everyone has a Chiron placement. Everyone has an area of their life where they're like, God damn it, this is why, why does life keep bringing me to my knees in this area? And for me, it's in Gemini, which is the wound of words. It's I've experienced a lot of not feeling seen, not feeling heard, feeling misunderstood, feeling like the black sheep, having huge fear of visibility and resistance around being visible and sharing my story, like not feeling good enough, feeling like the odd one out. And because I've experienced so many things that have led to these wounds, and I've had to really work to overcome them to grow my online business and to make money doing the work that I love, that puts me in a great position to help others who are going through the same thing. So yeah, so it's a magical placement, especially when it comes to brand storytelling, because what leads to people buying? Ultimately, it's connection. What leads to connection? It's feeling seen, feeling understood, and just having that human to human connection, which, often can elude us when we're on social media because we want to just show all the shiny things and we want to just talk about our offer, or we want to just talk about our client. But it's really in bringing forward those stories about ourselves that allows our clients to feel seen and to feel heard and to feel understood and to feel supported by us. And that's what builds trust. And that's ultimately what leads to sales the fastest.
Yeah, I really love that because I think a lot of people can feel like you say, they want to hide their challenges. They talk about it a little bit, but they don't really bring it forward and use that as a piece of connection because they feel like that's not one of their strengths. And I really like that you said we can actually use the things that we've gone through, our story, our challenges, to connect deeper with someone and like empathize with people over that, because I know a lot of people struggle with like, oh, I'm not there yet, so I don't know if I should lead, maybe I should do another course, maybe I should spend more time healing. But I really like this piece because I think it will give people permission to actually move forward wherever they are. So that's really powerful. We also are going to experience, your aligned pricing process in just a minute, but I wanted to like introduce your free gift, which is Cosmic Attraction Copywriting. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is a free series. It's a 5-part training that I created that's actually going to teach you how to understand your Chiron placement and then how to translate that into storytelling that really speaks to people who are a good match for you and your work and your skill set. Yeah, it's been like my most popular free training that I've made, and people have had like really massive breakthroughs around it. I also share the template for sharing your story in a social media post that people have used and instantly attracted clients into their offers. So yeah, there's so much wisdom on messaging and storytelling and really building your confidence to be vulnerable and to share those things that we might feel, quite insecure around, and to show you how that can really be your gold when it comes to storytelling, to making connections with clients. And you can find that on my website at withsarahmac.com.
Yeah, we'll also put it down below this video, also with your Instagram, your Substack, and your the six-figure creative book on Amazon. We'll put the link down below for that as well. So I'm just going to pin you and you can take it away with your aligned pricing process, and then I'll hop back on in about 10 minutes.
Okay, amazing. Let's do it. So, one of the most common questions I get is, like, how do I pick my price? And there's obviously like a lot of strategy behind picking your price. And I want to share like one of my favorite processes to give you just like a simple guide to help you get clarity on what is the right price for you, because it's really important, right? Because here are some common issues that you face when you pick the wrong price. If you pick a price that's too high, what can happen is you might still have some lingering beliefs around people actually, being willing or able to pay you that much. And this can come from either just having no evidence whatsoever because you're picking a brand new price point that you've never sold at before, or maybe you're pivoting to a slightly new offering. So maybe no one's ever paid you for that offering before, or, that type of work. It can also be rooted very unconsciously in self-worth issues. Like, although remember I told you about having a lot of stories from my past of feeling like my creativity wasn't valuable enough, that I really had to work through to believe that I could do the work that I was really passionate about and charge the prices that I really wanted to pay. So if you haven't dealt with some of those memories or those sneaky beliefs, they can also be really undermining your feeling of safety and possibility to charge more money for the work that you love to do. It can be beliefs about the economy that you've picked up and reading the news, like people aren't buying right now because there's a recession, la-di-la-di-la. You can also, what's also very common is people project money stories onto the client. Like I used to, when I first started my coaching business, my focus was helping creatives with money, with mindset and with money, because I was surrounded by super intelligent and amazing creative people who were just so broke and struggling with money. And in the beginning, I was like, well, this is a stupid business idea because nobody has the money. Until I really did that work on my money mindset and chose to believe that there were people out there who are super creative and people I'd love to work with, and they valued investing in their transformation exactly like I had, and investing in higher ticket offers and mentorship. So there could be a lot going on that is leading to you not fully backing and fully believing the price that you really want to be charging. So what happens when you're trying to charge a price but you don't fully back it? You can sabotage your launch. You don't maybe have the full confidence and conviction when you're pitching your offer, and resistance can take over, and you can unconsciously hide or not talk about or pitch your offer enough during your launch. And then when we're pricing something too low, what can happen is unconsciously or consciously, that this is not enough. And that even when you sign another client or another one and another one and another one, you'll have less time because you'll have more clients to deal with. You'll still have the same amount of bills to pay. And working for the amount of clients that you actually need to make the money that you really want will feel like way too much. So unconsciously, you're going to protect yourself from that by not fully showing up and selling with excitement and conviction. So when you pick the right price, how, you know that, do you feel like you're really excited to receive it? You believe someone out there will pay for it, even if you have no evidence. It feels within the realm of possibility that someone out there will pay the price that you're charging. And when you receive that money, you will feel very well compensated for your time and your energy and your expertise. So when this all feels right, you will feel excited to show up and sell your offer. It will feel easier and you will have less resistance and you will sign clients more easily. And, this is very personal because everyone's rent is different where they live. Everyone has different outgoings and overheads, different like numbers of children that they need to support. Partners have different salaries. So this is why it's very personal. Our relationship with money is so personal, and our business is a personal decision. Like our business strategies are very personal decisions because they influence our lifestyle in very big ways. So here's my exercise to help you really tune in to find that right price for you. So just start with a price. You can start with your existing one, or you can pick your desired one. It doesn't matter. And then I want you to think about signing your next client at that price point. How does it feel? What comes up for you internally? What thoughts, what emotions? Just notice, okay? This is just a check-in. We just want to get really, really curious. We don't have to judge. We don't have to try and problem solve. Now, put that price up a little bit. It can be by $100. It could be $500, $1,000, or whatever your local currency is. It doesn't matter. And then see what happens. What thoughts come up? What emotions come up? Just notice. Then put that price up again and again. Notice what thoughts, what emotions. Put the price up again. Put the price up again. Keep going with this exercise. And I just want you to collect data. Like, what are some of those thoughts and some of those feelings that are coming up when you think about going out there, putting that price up on your sales page, talking about it in your content, and pitching to clients who are like, hey, how do I work with you? Like, saying that number and thinking about receiving that number. So once you've played around with the different numbers, you're going to have some data, and you can really start to look at where maybe the resistance kicks in and you'll be able to see like which of those price points feels like the right price. Like it feels exciting. You'd love to receive it. You believe it's possible, even if it feels really nerve-wracking. Like when I first put my prices up, I remember the biggest invoice I'd ever sent out was for $3,000. And my hands were shaking when I sent it out. And my head was like, they're never going to pay this. They're going to like be like, what the hell are you doing? They're going to be so offended, right? And like, obviously they paid the invoice and the job went really well. So know that you don't need to feel completely resistant free to charge the prices that you want to charge. But that excitement better be there for receiving it. And you also obviously still need to have a shred of belief that the people will invest in that. So look out for the price that feels really exciting, that you still believe is possible. This is what I call your sweet spot. And remember, you can work on increasing your belief and being able to charge more by incrementally raising your prices. You can do this one client at a time if you want to. And you can put your prices back down again at any time if you want to. It's your business. You are the boss. You make the rules. You can change the rules. There are no rules. And no one is paying as close attention as we think. So, when I'm introducing a new offer or a new way of working, I'll usually bring it in at a lower price point because that's very free from resistance for me. And as I enroll clients and I build out the messaging and the assets like sales pages, launch content, and I start collecting testimonials, I'm really building my confidence and my clarity in communicating the power of my work, and I incrementally raise my prices. So I did this when I started bringing astrology more to the forefront in the work I was doing with clients and helping them with their messaging and brand storytelling, starting with charging $300 for an intensive, which I now charge $2,000 for, relaunching my one-on-one at $3,000, which is now a $10,000 offer. And I got there one client at a time, one piece of content at a time, testing and refining and really edging up my confidence, my clarity in my offer pitch and my prices as I go. And this is exactly what I help my clients with, building out their offer positioning, their messaging and their content pieces to fill high ticket offers priced at 5 to 10K. And I do that in my Cosmic Copy Mastermind, where I really use your astrology chart to bring your most powerful gifts, strengths, and skills forward in your brand storytelling to finally find the words to communicate your magic so you can raise your prices and fill your offers with confidence and clear content that does the selling for you. I also have a mini course called How to Raise Your Prices that shows you how to use the parts of your astrology chart to give you those insights on how to talk about your gifts and strengths and to successfully sell a high ticket offer. So remember, test, experiment, and pay attention to how you're feeling, but that doesn't always have to dictate the strategic moves that you make. So play with this, and I would love to hear how it goes. Feel free to reach out to me at Sarah McMagic on Instagram and let me know what comes up.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah, for this exercise. And thank you for sharing your knowledge and your expertise with our audience today.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.